Getting too big? Are you getting too big for your pants?
Look
I
how
ate too
short
much,
those
I
are.
tell ya.
Those are just
Well, that's why I didn't eat any pie. I always want pie, especially Ann's pie,
Yeah.
but
I didn't eat
I
any
thought
pie.
I didn't think I should eat any tonight.
I didn't eat any pie. I don't feel up to it.
Well, I
Do you-
didn't
how's
either.
your
I didn't
stomach
feel
feel
like I
today?
should eat pie.
Okay, all right. Julie says hers isn't supposed to be well tonight. Are you doing it, John? Well, Grandma, you surely have a pretty tree. It's so nice and cheery.
Yes, I think I'll take it down tomorrow.
You gonna take all your Christmas decorations?
I think I will, most of them. I might let a few hang yet, but I think I'll take the tree down and the lights.
Well, it certainly has been nice and cheery.
Oh, I think they look cheery.
Too
The
bad.
different colored lights, I think, makes it look nice.
Yeah. Too bad.
Have you taken your tree down?
No, I kind of hate to take it down.
Yeah. That's the way I feel about mine, too. I feel like I sort of hate to take it down.
Maybe you can leave it up another week and then take it down. Or maybe we will anyway.
That's like Dick does, Grandpa Dick. He takes those things and stretches them, you know.
For exercise,
For his,
Exercise, I should do that.
Didn't mean to throw my arm in your face.
Oh, it's okay. I threw my hand in his face already tonight, in his eye or something when we were watching the game. Well, we've had a nice first day for New Year, haven't we?
Yes, this has been nice, really nice day.
Mild weather. And
For a start,
It's really nice.
for a start of a new year, I don't want any name callings.
that sounds like a good start for a new year. No name calling.
No name calling.
John David has a habit of calling names, and that would be a good thing to arrest.
And you guys, no coffee drinking.
Well, I haven't had any today.
Well, I didn't drink any coffee this evening. I think a person can drink too much coffee, really.
Well, I've heard like over 6 cups or so, you're 3 times more likely to have a heart attack than someone that doesn't drink coffee, too.
Well, I know Grandpa Berger quit drinking coffee. He said, I just think I'm drinking too much coffee. He said, I'm just going to quit, and he did. He quit.
I wonder if he felt any better.
I don't know. I never heard him say whether he felt better or not after that. But I've noticed that I was getting more nervous to carry anything, you know, or a cup of coffee from the stove to the table. I noticed that I shake more. I just have to be careful. If I have a cup full of something, I'm apt to spill it. So I just wonder if I'm not, you know, I go over to Ann's to eat, and if I go over there in the morning for something, well, I'll drink a cup of coffee and then drink coffee at noon. And
Well, something hot just tastes good, doesn't
it does, especially when it's cold.
Yeah.
I just like something hot. So,
If you want something hot, just drink my hot chocolate.
yeah, I can drink hot chocolate, or I like tea too, but then that has caffeine in it too.
Say, did you hear from your sister Mabel?
Yes,
What did she have to say?
I talked to her Christmas Day.
Oh, how's she feeling?
Well, pretty good. She was doing pretty good.
How about your brother, Roland? Or
Well,
not your brother, your Irvin.
I don't know. I don't know how Urban is. I tried to call them today, but I couldn't get them.
I see.
So I don't know. They went to Susan's for Christmas, and I don't know if they've not come home yet, or Hilda wanted to stay all week, but I don't believe they're at home. Well, they weren't today because I tried. I let it ring 5, 6 times. They didn't answer, so I didn't try again. But I just thought maybe they stayed because he hasn't been able to chore, you know, for quite some time.
I wonder if his pain's getting any less.
Yes, they said it was better. When I talked to him the last time, he said the pain was better.
I see.
But Judy, now that's Tom's wife, and he is Hilda's boy from her first husband. And she said that Tom had gone over the morning she wrote. I got the letter before Christmas and said that Irvin looked bad. He thought Irvin looked bad. And then Willa Marie wrote, you know who she is. And she said that she thought he had lost a lot of weight. So he must be quite thin. Because I thought he was thinner when we were down at Mabel's.
I see.
Had you seen that picture of Irvin and Mabel and I?
No, I don't think I saw
It's
it.
there on the TV, there on the...
Oh. When was this taken?
That was taken last fall when we were down to Mabel's.
Well, that he looks good there, doesn't he?
Yeah, yes, but Junie looked awfully bad. I mean, his color. He was just as yellow, and Ann and I both said, on the way home, I said, I think Irvin has cancer. I said, I think cancer is back on him. And sure enough, he hadn't told us. And when I was out of Eula's before I came home, we called him on Sunday. And Eula talked to him first, and he told her that he did have. But he said, don't tell Nori.
Oh.
He always called me Nori.
He was probably worried.
Yeah, he said, don't tell Nori. And she didn't. She didn't tell me. But, of course, when I found it out, I told her then, and she said that he had told her not to tell me.
Kind of makes you disgusted, doesn't it? When you
Yeah,
say
well,
don't tell.
in a way, and yet I can see how he'd feel about it, you know. He wouldn't want to worry we girls about it, but, and Hilda told him, she says, why don't you tell the girls?
Sure.
She just thought he ought to tell us.
Oh, I see you have your hot pad holders hanging on the wall.
Oh, yes.
I think that watermelon one is so pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty. They're both all pretty, all three of them. And I didn't know where to put that that wreath over there. I put it on the cupboard door. See, over there.
Oh, that is pretty, isn't it? Now, Julie got you that? Julie got you that, didn't she?
Yeah.
That's pretty. That
Isn't
is
that
cute.
what you gave me, Julie? Yeah, I think that's real pretty. Now, I didn't know whether to take it down from there and put it over there where that calendar, that's an old calendar that, you know, over there. Noni brought that from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know whether to
that'd be
take
a
it
pretty
down because it was 83 or 84, I guess.
Oh.
And I didn't know whether to take it down and hang the wreath there or not. What do you think?
Oh, it'd be okay. Or I think the wreath would look cute right above this one picture here, right next to that one that Pam did, because they kind of bring out the red in that picture, too. Right up here.
Above William, you mean?
Yeah, right above William.
I
think it looked okay there.
Did you get one of those pictures of William?
A little one.
A little one. Well, I just figured that, oh, John, I've got that Christmas paper hanging up on the window. You know, when we sit down there to eat and stand, and Annette had been staying here at night, and then when William eat, we let him sit at the end of the table and the sun shines right in, or anyone else sitting there.
Yeah.
Sun shines right in, I put that paper up.
No, that's a good idea.
It's,
Now, will they stay here tonight?
yeah, they're going to stay here tonight.
Well, that's nice. It gives you somebody else around.
Yeah, it does. That's what I told them. I said they were just as welcome as could be, and I have the 2 bedrooms.
You don't have to worry about feeling like you have to entertain them or anything.
No, not really. And I enjoy having them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Ann doesn't have to give up her bed either, you know.
Now, is Kurt sleeping in the other bed?
I don't know if Kurt's sleeping in there or not. John's sleeping down in the
basement.
In the basement.
Well, it's nice everybody can be accommodating. So
Yeah, really. I enjoy having them sleep
What
here.
is that?
Those were the cooks at Bethany when I was in Bethany.
Julie probably doesn't know what Bethany is.
Grandpa and Grandma Rough Rock, we called them. That was their name, Rough Rock. I don't know if they were related to that teacher at
Dayton Roth Rock.
Dayton Rough Rock or not.
His is Roth, R-O-T-H, Roth Rock.
Yeah.
Is that the same?
His, was that too, was that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, theirs was R-O-T-H,
Oh, yeah,
R-O-T-H.
right. Now, he's retired this year.
She's, now I keep forgetting. She was either a sister, or was it he a brother? I think she was a sister to Grandpa Witmore's father, I believe, father or mother.
Mrs. Rothrock.
Mrs. Rothrock, yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So they were sort of really related, you know, by marriage to me.
I see.
Of course, I didn't know it at that time because we weren't married then.
Yeah.
But that was our, let's see. Oh, that was the kitchen. Yeah.
What's BBS stand for?
Bethany Bible School.
Oh.
See, Grandma went through college. She just lacked, one class of finishing college, Grandma?
I just, that school, Bethany Bible. I like, yeah, just a short time. I just always felt so badly because they had a 3-year course that I took. And I had 2 winters while I was there. I had pneumonia. And I was out, 6 weeks or more. And I often wish I would have stayed in the summer and taken summer school work, you know. I could have stayed there. But of course my folks were always anxious for me to come home, and I was sort of anxious to go too, but when I went home, I was always homesick and lonely to go back.
Really?
To be with the kids.
Yeah, you met a lot of close friends there, didn't you?
Yeah, oh yes, I did.
That you've written to all your life?
Friends, yes. I still write to one of the girls that I roomed with.
Do you?
We write to each other every Christmas.
My
Get
goodness.
a letter from her. She lives in California.
Oh.
At, where's the Rose Bowl?
Pasadena?
Pasadena, that's where she
Well,
lives.
you ought to tell Pam to look her up.
Yeah, I told Pam. Pam called the other night, did I tell you?
No.
And she talked, Sunday night, she called, and she talked 3/4 of an hour.
She did.
And it just seemed like, I think she was sort of lonely maybe, or wanted to talk, you know. And she said, well, why don't you come out the Rose Bowl? She said, you can see where we live.
Wow.
What's KOBS stand for?
Let's see. KOBS. Well, that was a group of girls that, and this is SALS, isn't it? Well, those were a group of girls, we 6 and we 4, chummed together a lot. This was a no, that wasn't the quartet either. But we chummed together a lot. And this is, have you heard of Dan West
Yes.
in the church, you know?
Sure.
This girl, Pearl Oaks, married Dan West's brother.
Oh.
And she and I were such good friends. She passed away a couple of years ago.
Huh.
And we were all good friends, real good friends. And that was a laundry room. We'd go down there to do our laundry. We'd do our own laundry. If we'd do our own laundry, we'd go down there and do it. See, we have a washboard there, and we had tubs.
Did you have to study an
class
awfully lot?
pictures, right?
Did you study an awfully lot?
Study?
Study.
Yeah, quite a lot. Had to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I took history of music, which was a hard subject, I thought.
Yeah.
Because to remember things, you know, and you just had to do a lot of reading and a lot of study.
Concentrate.
Yeah.
Work.
Oh, those were kids in school. The Kaler boys looked at this picture. They had these pictures the other night.
Oh, did they?
Marilyn and David were here, and Daryl and Dwayne.
Oh.
And they looked through this.
Bums. Bums.
Yeah, I guess we were bums. We used to go out to the park. There was a large park. Garfield Park was close to the school.
Yeah.
And every evening we'd walk out, nearly every evening, not every evening, but a lot of the time we'd walk out there for exercise. Now here's the conservatory that was out in the park. It was just, they had different rooms just full of flowers and ferns, and it was a beautiful place. And we'd go through that.
There's a picture of it right there, I think.
Yeah, that was the picture out in the park also. That was a nice place, Julie. We always liked to go out there. And this was another good friend of mine. We roomed together for a while. Let's see, Gladys.
At
At
Field
Field Museum. That was, I'm not sure if that Field Museum was in this park or if that was out in one of the larger parks out near the lake.
I think it is by the lake.
Out by Lake Michigan, I believe.
think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it. But this was taken in Garfield Park, these buildings. They were just little areas where you could go in. If it rained, you could get in under the roof. And
See, back here.
And that's, I just don't see well enough anymore. That's Gladys and I. Let's see, this is Gladys right here. And here she is again. She married a nice-looking little guy, but I don't know what happened. They separated.
Oh, they did.
And she was living down in Santa Fe, the last I heard. And I went down to see her once. You know, when I was out at Euless, they went down to New Mexico and went down to Santa Fe, and they asked me before they went if I'd like to go along. I said, yes, I would. I said, Gladys lives down there. And I said, I don't know, though, if she's at home or not. And we called, and she answered, and I went down with Byron's to Santa Fe.
Oh, my.
And I got to go see her. She lived in a trailer home.
Oh.
And she had a closed-in porch built on it, you know, and it was really quite nice. And she had plants, a lot of plants and flowers. She lived there by herself.
She did.
Had some neighbors. Well, I never would have recognized her, though, if I'd have gone there not knowing, you know, if that was where she lived. And we've been corresponding ever since at Christmas time, but this Christmas I didn't write her and I didn't hear from her either. Now, Eula, when she came back from California, when she went out with Pam last year, when they moved out there, she came back through there and stopped, but she said Gladys wasn't at home. And she didn't get an answer at all, but she left a note and a picture of myself, hanging on the door. But I never did hear from Gladys since, so I don't know if she found it or, but she thought she was still living there. But I just don't know. I haven't heard from her. I thought I'd write to her sometime this winter and see if she's still living there.
And then Lily Pond,
Winona Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we were out boating at Winona Lake. That's in Indiana.
At lunch on the river.
And this is Merle. Merle came to see me the last year I was in Bethany. He came to see me.
Oh,
And that's he and I. And Gladys and the fellow she was going with at the time. That isn't the fellow she married, but she was going with him. All the Keller boys looked at this the other night. They were laughing about some of the pictures.
They probably thought it was pretty interesting.
There's the volunteer mission band.
Yeah. That was quite a large group.
Oh, Grandma, could you tell us anything about your first Christmas? Anything you can remember about your first Christmas?
My first Christmas?
Yeah, that you remember.
Oh, I don't know. I remember one Christmas when I was a little girl that my dad played Santa Claus.
Oh, he did.
And I was in the living room and I heard a noise, outside. And he was out on the front porch and he made sort of a noise, And Mama says, "Oh, there's Santa. I hear him." And he went around then, and I guess he came in the house. I didn't know. We opened the door and looked out, and there were boxes and things,
You really?
I remember that. And that's.
Do you remember any presents particularly that you got on Christmases?
Well, I think at one time we got a little chair, a little rocking chair. And that's Mabel and I together, and I don't know. I don't remember too many of the presents.
How about any
blocks
blocks.
and blocks to play with?
Are those still the same blocks you have now? But you can
No, I think those were the girls' blocks.
You remember any particular Christmas with you and Grandpa?
Merle and I, you mean? Well, yes, we usually had our Christmas together at my folks. We usually had our Christmas together. And
you mean before you ever married him?
No, after we were married.
Oh, I see. On Christmas Day?
Yeah, or Christmas Eve. It would depend. Sometimes we'd have a service, a program. And I remember when I was a girl in the grades, we used to have Christmas programs. Every year, every Christmas, we'd have Christmas programs. We'd have a Christmas tree, and we'd always all get gifts off of the tree, and candy. And teachers would always give out candy and something like that for Christmas.
I see.
And it was interesting.
Here's Merle.
That's Merle and Irma. That's Irma.
Did you always go to a one-room country school when you were in grade school?
What?
Did you attend a one-room country school? You walk to school or ride a horse to school? Or
walk to school.
I see.
And I had right at 1.5 miles to walk.
That'd be plenty long distance.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have someone to walk with?
The half mile. But the mile I had to walk by myself. most of the way.
Did you ever get afraid?
Yes. One time, usually I crossed a pasture, but when the cattle, after they turned the cattle into the pasture, I didn't go through the pasture because the folks were afraid for me to go through the pasture for fear, they might take after me. And I went around the road then. It was sort of curved around, and you had to cross the same branch twice. There was a branch ran down through the pasture, and if I went around the road, I had to cross the branch south of the pasture, and then at the north edge of the pasture, I had to cross it there again. So one evening, I was coming home from school, and there were trees along close to the road because the branch came out close to the road that went straight north and south. And so I was walking along, and all at once I saw a man lying under the tree. He was lying down in the pasture. He was on the inside of the fence and lying in the pasture with his head up on the roots of the tree sort of went down toward the branch. And that gave him sort of a place where his head would raise up. He had his head close to the tree, and his head was a little higher than his body. And I saw him, and I just stopped like that. And I began to cry. And I don't think he would have ever noticed me if I would have gone on by and just kept quiet, and went on by and went on home. But I just stopped right now, and I began to cry. Well, I don't know if he had been asleep or not, but if he was, he woke up, and he turned around and sat up and looked at me, and he says, "Oh, don't cry, little girl." He says, "I won't hurt you." And he didn't even get up. And so I went on. But I never will forget that.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Yes, that was really something.
Did you tell your mom there about
it? Oh, yes. Yeah, I told her.
How about that?
But that was a common occurrence, really, because we'd have men come through the country, and they'd stop
like hobos.
Yeah, on the road. They'd stop, walk through, and they'd stop for something to eat. And sometimes they'd be willing to chop wood, to pay for whatever they got to eat.
Yeah.
And we were never afraid of people, really.
You weren't?
Ma, you wouldn't do that now.
No, I think it's a little different.
You'd be afraid of people like that. But at that time, it was sort of a common occurrence.
There weren't nearly so many people as there are now, either.
Oh, no. And it was...
That was down in Rich Hill, Missouri?
Yeah.
I see. Grandpa didn't go to the same school as you did he?
No, he went to school at Adrian.
Where did you meet Grandpa?
In the church.
Oh, you did?
We didn't have a church where we lived at that time. There was no Brethren church where we lived. And the folks weren't members of any church for quite a long while. And when we girls were little, when Mama got to the place where she wanted to become a member of the church, and we had a Methodist church there, and she wanted to join the Methodist church. And Dad said no. He said, "No, I'm not going to join the Methodist church." He says, "If I ever join the church, it's going to be the Dunkards." And because he knew Brethren people in Pennsylvania, because the folks both came from Pennsylvania. And he said, "If I ever join the church, I'm going to join the Brethren church." He said Dunkards at that time. So they didn't join any church, and so Mama from there then just decided she was going to join a church. She was going to become a member of the church. And so somehow she came in contact with, I'm not sure just how she did that, but anyway, she came in contact with some of the Brethren people from Adrian. And she wrote to Uncle George Lance. Now Uncle George Lance married a sister of Merle's mother. And so that's the way we became acquainted with the people at the Adrian Church. And so she made arrangements to go to Adrian on the train. And my dad took us to Rich Hill, 10 miles to Rich Hill to get on the train to go 27 miles to Adrian.
Wow.
So she told him she'd have 2 little girls, and Mabel was a baby, and I was a little over 3. I was about 3, maybe close to 4, because Mabel was a baby. I was close to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she told him I'd have on a red coat, and she told him she'd be there, and he met us then off the train in Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got acquainted. Then we went back and forth to the church there for a while, and then my folks decided to join the church, and they were baptized in a pond on Merle's folks' land.
Oh, well, isn't that something?
We were, and that's how we got to going together.
Well, how old were you and Grandpa when you started dating, or started to know each other even?
Well, I expect I was, right soon after that.
You mean like...
Yeah, we'd go back and forth. Well, after we joined the church there, we'd go up to Love Feast services. And we'd drive up, we had a carriage, and we would drive up, and we'd stay overnight.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go up one day and stay for the service at night, and then we'd come home maybe the next day, or maybe we'd stay a couple days and visit with different people. And as we became acquainted with different people.
That sounds kind of more like Amish now.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
A lot like the Amish, I would say.
So you knew Grandpa like when he was 8 or 10 years old?
Yeah.
I see.
Uh-huh.
When did you first start liking him seriously?
When we...
Yeah, when you started dating, and I mean, kind of liked him more than just a friend.
After I was in Bethany. Well, just about the time I started to Bethany.
Like you were, what,
I was,
17 or 16? Or?
I was 18, I think. The fall that I started to Bethany, I think I was 18.
I see.
And then we went together. Well, I went to Bethany for 3 years. And we went together not all of that time. I think it was just the last year that we started dating when I was in Bethany. And the last year. And
he had been in the army, hadn't he, or something?
Yeah, he was in the army, and we didn't correspond then. After he went to the army, we corresponded some, and then the last year I was there, we corresponded regularly then, and then when he came home, why, after that he came down to see me, and let's see, there's a picture here, I think that. He here it is. That picture there, when he first came down to see me, that's a picture of him, and he went out to help Urban milk.
Oh my. When he first came down to see, he was a pretty big guy then, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was always big.
Well, he looked like he was in his 20s too then, or he would have been older then. Like
yeah, he was a little older than I. He was 89. He was 89 when he passed away.
And so.
And yeah, he died in 84. So he was 3 years older, about 3 years older than I.
I see.
John David, you're tired, aren't you?
Oh, I think we better be, it's 9
Yeah,
o'clock, and by the time we get home, it'll be 10.
Yes, that's right. I don't want to hurry you off, but I know you're tired.